Good morning, Facebook. How are you today? Trying a little different setup here with the camera, so let's see if this works. And I feel like I keep wanting to go look to the side instead of where the camera is at, so I hope this works out. But anyway, good morning. How are you? Where are you coming in from, and what's the weather like? So it's cold here. It's not near as bad as it was yesterday. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna like this camera thing, but let's see. Does it look like I'm completely looking off? Oh, snow. Anyway, this is weird, but okay, I'm gonna try this. So anyway, it is 35 degrees where I'm at. It's chilly, but like I said, it's not currently snowing, and it's not, well, I'm in a little cove here. It's not terribly freezing. It's not windy, so we're gonna try it outside. I didn't want to sit in the car again. I don't like doing that. But anyway, so good morning. We are going to talk about number 5. So let me know, are you guys enjoying this? Are you learning along with me? I'm having a blast. Actually, I wrote it down to talk about at the end, but I'm having so much fun with learning these. I was hoping that my top 5 was going to be enough for me, but it's not. So I went ahead and paid the money and got the full 34. So if you guys want me to keep going and, kind of throw them in here or there, finish out the top 10, anyway, drop below what you want me to do. I'm definitely going to be researching them, so it's just if you want me to do a live about them, or if you just want to talk about them, let's talk. So anyway, okay, so number 5 for me is futuristic. And I jumped a little bit ahead just to see kind of what it was like, because obviously it sounds, sometimes they're not anything like what they sound, but obviously futuristic is. So this one was so fun. This is me when I say, wouldn't it be great if, like yesterday I was saying, just think of the world if we were all nice to each other. This, I always have different thoughts in my head about who I am and what I want to say and what that means, but I didn't realize it had anything to do with a strength called futuristic. But I do like to think about the future and forward thinking, and anyway, so this is all part of the futuristic. But it says you often think about what your life could be like in the future. Absolutely, I do that all the time. I was watching a podcast this morning and they're like, I don't remember much about my childhood. So I don't remember being that kid that always had their head in the clouds. You couldn't really bring them back to earth. Like they described it as, like, think about if there was quicksand going around, these people wouldn't sink to the ground because their feet weren't like securely, on the ground. They were already kind of floating a little bit. So kind of bringing them back down to earth all the time, and sometimes that can get frustrating when people don't understand. Good morning, Leonard. When people don't understand why your heads are in the cloud and they're, come on, like, quit daydreaming or whatever. Well, the futuristic people are the ones who drive this country, who drive all the incredible things that you and I are certainly enjoying that have changed over time. It's the futuristic people, and I'm learning like some other ties to it. So if you were futuristic and activator, like, so the activator is the one that, okay, but how are we going to do it? Let's sit down and da-da-da-da. So if you have those two things, not only do you think of the future and you can visualize it and you can get that point across to everyone, then you know how to actually put it into motion. I don't have the activator. So I guess I can just see. It says you work very hard to breathe life into your big dreams. Absolutely. It's okay. It'd be one thing to just be a dreamer, but like, what are you going to do about it? How are you going to use this to your advantage? I loved, as soon as I got on there, the first thing that it said that you probably would be, because there's usually like I said yesterday, the one about the helping, it was you might pick a field, medical field or computer programmer or something like that. Today's number 1 was entrepreneur. And this is why I was talking about Krista the other day. I said, oh, Krista, wait till we get to futuristic, because that's the one thing we have in common. And she is also an entrepreneur. So these are people who obviously can see things coming. It kind of made me think of, do you guys remember the live that I did that said, do you believe in time machines? And how you can propel yourself into the future. And we've talked about the gig economy. So an entrepreneur obviously has a different mind. Not everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. Not everybody should be. Some people like knowing that they go to a job and this is what they're going to do today. Entrepreneurs a lot of times are not that way. But when I was talking about the time machine, this that would be me. It's so funny that I that video really gravitated, you know, I gravitated towards it, and because now I see it's part of the futuristic part of me. One of the things, I'll get back to some of that other, I want to try to stay on track, but your dreams of tomorrow are very alive in your mind today, and you intentionally strive to transform these possibilities into a reality. So that's why I was saying, like, not only do you can see the future, like futuristic people, and you know, I keep saying this because I'm finding out that not everybody sees things the way I do. It's part of one of my strengths as being futuristic. And again, you always think everyone sees the same things you do, but I can actually see, you know, where I could be in 6 months, 3 years, 5 years, and I just need someone to help me, you know, do it, because I have the ability to, oh my gosh, this could be so great. And same thing with like your team members. And one of the things I wrote down is a dreamer, it's a dreamer who sees what you can be before you do. So do you ever have a leader who says, oh man, you know, you are a leader, or you are this, you just don't see it yet, you don't see how great you are? I would tell my kids that all the time. You don't see, if you could just see yourself in my eyes and see what you can be, who you are, you know, again, how wonderful would it be if we could get our kids to see them in the light that we see them. Let's see, what else did I write down? Yeah, I assume everyone can see into the future. One of the things, even like, just say my day job, the county, I've been saying for years, we need to be looking into the future. We have an office, and I'm talking specifically about my office. We have an office that now, or for sure within the next 5 years, we can be down to about 4 people, just based on everyone's age. These people have been here for a long time. They can all retire anywhere now. There's so many that could go today if they chose to, and certainly within the next 5 years. What are we doing about that? We could one day have an office that there's about 3 or 4 of us left in it. 2 of our youngest people just quit. And I'm not saying discriminative, I'm not saying just age, but we need to be cross-training. Like, you know, luckily I'm really good at mine, and I'd love to be training someone who is planning, not, you know, has nothing to do with their age, but at least that they're planning on being here for a minimum of 10 years. You know, the 2 that I work with, I don't think they're going to be here that long. And so I keep saying, we need to be preparing for the future. And I get frustrated, but I didn't realize that, like I said, in my mind, like, this is just common knowledge or common sense. But I didn't realize that it's a strength. I didn't know that not everybody can see that way. You like to think outside the box. I'm really good at that. And it ties back into the fixer, I can't remember if that was yesterday's restorative, as far as about fixing things. You have the ability to think outside the box. So, okay, that broke, but now how are we going to get around it, or how can we do it differently to make it work? But anyway, the ability to think outside the box. Here's a good word, especially if you work for the county: change. Change can be good. You know, change sometimes sucks. Sometimes it's not good. But around here, it's like it's a 4-letter word. You know, you don't want to speak too much about change. I mean, we'll just throw it out there. We have an election coming up. My boss is running for election. We could have a new boss in January. I mean, so you want to talk about change. So are you going to just shut down and, you know, I don't do change? Or are you going to roll with the punches? Like, life throws changes at you. What's that saying? Like, you make plans and God laughs. You know, you have to be able to roll with the changes, with, you know, things that get thrown out there at you if you want to be successful and have a happy life, I think. You always want to do better and be better. Absolutely, that's 100% who I am. I am definitely a learner. I can't wait to see where learner, I think it's one of the actual skills, where it's at in mine, because I do love to learn. I do love to better myself. You help create a better team because you can see the future. You can see, you know, what it could be if they just put in the work, or they just, you know, did some personal development, or they got out of their own way, you know, whatever it be. You know, you could create that change in your team. So let's go back. So I wrote this stuff down. So when we were talking about the gig economy, so like, one of the things about someone who can see into the future is you see changes coming. I wish that I could see you know, I'd love probably for this to be my number one, but because you want to be able to see everything that's coming down the road, you know, how wonderful would that be? But let's just go back just a little bit. Think about Blockbuster to Netflix. Okay, whoever saw that coming, whoever got into Netflix, man, they're doing great, aren't they? Who would have thought that I went to college. I feel like I'm a little tall here. No, that's too low. I'm on a different step. When I went to college, I worked for Hastings. Hastings was a blast. It was the place to be. I mean, people came in and just hung out. I worked in several different departments there. You know, of course, we had the videos. Remember going in the little, okay, please drop me a 1. If you remember going to Hastings and you had to pull out of the video thing, the little hard plastic thing, and take it to the counter, and they went and got it from behind the counter and gave it to you. That'll take you back. And then I got to be one of the people who worked the front, and you know, when people brought them in and didn't rewind them, we had all these little rewinders under the counter so that we could stick them back in order. Okay, remember those days. We had a huge music department. Let's just talk about CDs. Not cassettes, not 8-tracks. We all know how, you know, that progressed from, you know, albums to 8-tracks to cassettes to CDs. And just think about now, when it went from the CD to the M3, that was cool. You know, I mean, just the portable. I mean, we've come so far. When you want to talk about the big old boom boxes, to the portable ones, to, oh my gosh, look, there's this little MP3 player, to iTunes. Who can you imagine the person who came up? Well, we all know who came up with iTunes, but I mean, just think about that. Just think about how it took us from all the way from an album to CDs to iTunes. If you had been able to think of that, if you had been that futuristic person, I mean, these are people with, I'm sure, you know, very, very strong futuristic. Amazon, think about Amazon. So Amazon's huge. I mean, Amazon, you know, I use it every day, almost every day. I'm an Amazon Prime queen. I love the fact that I don't like to shop. I'll throw that. I do not like to shop. I really don't like to go to the grocery store or Walmart. So I just put it in a little shopping cart, and I even do the subscribe and save so that, again, you're saving money. And it comes monthly to my house. I can make changes. I mean, that's probably part of what I love about Modere. Modere's like a little mini Amazon. We have over 100 products. You put it in your little cart, there's an app, and it comes to your house. I mean, you know, I'm so happy that I have seen the future. You know, if you guys don't know anything about social retail, reach out to me. It is the future. We are going to bust it. 2019 is going to be incredible. And, you know, I hear so many people over and over and over, you know, they're trying to fight the system. You know, I want to be able to go to my local store. You know, I like Toys R Us, you know, they're very upset it closed. It sucks. It does. I mean, the last thing I want to do is put people out of work. So I'm trying to put people to work in a different, you have to think about it that way. It's a little bit different way of doing things. But those same people that, you know, got put out of work, I can put you to work over here. It's just times are changing. And if you're one of the ones who's willing to see it, to believe in it, to buy into it, you know, maybe you don't completely get it yet, how big this can be, but I mean, there's a whole thing called the gig economy, because so many people have a side gig, and then so many people have turned that side gig into a full-time gig. Like, you know, I'm just doing it good morning, Mom. I do it now as I can because I have a full-time job, because I have a family, and how much ever I want to put into it, and it's my business. I'm an entrepreneur. I own this thing. I can do whatever I want to do with it. If I want to, you know, stay up late and keep working on it, I can do that. If I don't have time, or if I, you know, whatever, it's whatever I want to put into it. It's not that, you know, someone at work is telling me, you know, you've got to give 40 hours. Currently, I have to give 40 hours to the county. But I can't wait to get there. But at least I can see it. I can see how incredible my future could be. So just think about that. Just you guys just think about that. I want you to spend a little bit of time thinking about what happened from Blockbuster to Netflix, from, you know, the stores to Amazon, from the record player to iTunes. I mean, that's what this gig economy is. And I am so thankful that I did see it. And like I said, social retail it's not MLM. Social retail is a whole new thing, isn't it, Ed? It's a different way. It's a whole different beast, and it's incredible. But it is the way of the future. So when we talked about time machines, that's where it's going. But anyway, So today was Futuristic, and it was a lot of fun to research. I completely see why now I can see, you know, things that are outside of the box, and how I can help my friends, my family, my, you know, the county or whatever, when something goes wrong. Like, again, you know, think outside the box, and then just remember, change can be good. Sometimes, you know, change is very, very good. Look at those things I just named. You know, who doesn't, please tell me, drop below if you don't use iTunes or Apple Music or something like that. Are you still using CDs? Give me a little, there's got to be like a little music note or something if you're still using CDs or cassettes, all right? We may need to talk. I work with a lady who still uses CDs, but at least she's streaming music during work on the computer, so she's getting there, but she does still have her CDs. But anyway, please drop below if you guys got value out of this. That is the top 5, so essentially this is done. This little, I don't even know what we were calling it, but let me know if you want me to go through the top 10. I already have an idea for tomorrow's live that I've been just dying to get out there, but I wanted to finish up this series. That's what we were calling it, a series of 5. So let me know, like I said, if you got value. And I just hope you guys have a great Thursday. And we are still doing the chemo care packs. We're up to 10. So we're gonna do, I know Ed, you threw out a huge goal there for me, but once I got to 10, then I definitely am ready to hit 20. So if anyone is interested in donating any amount of money, please let me know for those cancer chemo packs, so that we can, you know, bless those that are having a hard time and going through chemo. And that's the end of break. So you guys have a fantastic Thursday, and please let me know. I was so jealous, Justine, yesterday doing your live in your backyard. Oh, was I jealous. I had to do mine in the car because it was snowing and it was freezing and it was blowing. It was definitely an ugly, I won't call it a blizzard because we've had those, but it was ugly. And then I got to see Justine in her backyard, all beautiful. And yeah, winter's here. We didn't get much of a fall. I think it jumped right to winter, but gotta love Wyoming, right? You guys have a great day.